All right, are you guys happy now? All you MAGA supporters? All the let's make America great again people? I'm pretty sure Trump is trying to enslave people again. Owner responsibility? Yeah, slavery. Okay, Mr. Oompa Loompa himself coming in hot from Florida Alcatraz is now imposing a way around our undocumented workers. Farmers have the option of ownership. That sounds a lot to fucking slavery to me, bro. Like, I get that you want your options, but I'm pretty sure having the farmer own you isn't one of them. All while you're still paying taxes, but have no legal rights here in the United States. If this doesn't start a civil war, I really don't know what will anymore. Between concentration camps, now slavery, no women's rights, what's next? I feel you, Lady Liberty. I'm gonna shake my head too and hide my face. Definitely not proud to be an American today.
Hello brothers and sisters, I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you're watching me from now. A lot of white MAGA supporters are now calling out the black community to come and work for them in their farms. And most of the black community are reacting by saying no, because they feel like they're not the ones who brought all these bad policies that are now being implemented in the US. They are now complaining and calling out the white Texas, Nebraska MAGA supporters for their betrayal at the ballot. So let's watch this video, then I'll have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
Dookie Booty and his administration are trying to bring back slavery. Slavery, y'all. Every time I hear one of Dookie Booty's new plans, I just want to... So they want to detain undocumented immigrants working on farms, then release them back to those same farms with their employers as their sponsors. So they wouldn't have any path to citizenship. They wouldn't have any hopes of becoming a part of the country that they're helping to feed. They would just be working under the threat of deportation and their employer having them on a leash. Does that sound familiar to y'all? Well, it should, because after slavery, they had sharecropping and convict leasing, where they had black people tied to the land, working under white landowners who controlled their entire lives. Sounds like slavery to me. So convict leasing is where they would arrest black men on petty crimes, and then they would lease them out to plantations and railroads, and their bosses could beat them under the watch of the state. So now they want to do the same thing to immigrants. They want to catch them, then release them, let the farmers take charge, but don't give them any chance of getting citizenship. The farmers ain't going to be paying them nowhere near close to what they were paying them before. Of course, the immigrants are scared of getting deported. So they're keeping them scared, and that's how they keep them under control, to keep doing slave labor. Half of our farm labor workforce is undocumented. So they harvest all of the food that we fucking eat. So they feed us. And instead of looking at them as fucking human beings, these motherfuckers want to look at them as just objects and tools to use for labor. When you take away a person's freedom, force them to work, and don't give them no type of fucking future, you're no longer exploiting them. That's full-blown fucking slavery. Plain and simple. All I know is we can't let history repeat itself. So everybody better start speaking the fuck up. And when it comes time to vote in the midterms, everybody better have their funky ass out there voting. All y'all that decided y'all didn't want to vote for Kamala, y'all want to sit this one out and protest, none of that fucking shit. Everybody better have their funky asses out there voting when it comes time for these midterms. Because shouldn't nobody be treated as property. Not then and not fucking now.
So a couple of days ago, while visiting the new immigration detention center in Florida, reporters took the opportunity to question Donald Trump on this new program that they heard swirling about. The new program would allow migrants who are facing deportation to leave, but they would leave on a sponsorship. Basically, they'd be able to come back so long as they're being sponsored or basically signed up on a ownership of some type to the farmers or hotel company that they worked for. It's a pretty niche program, considering it's more in benefit for farmers and for those who are in other hospitality fields. But when questioned about it, Donald Trump admitted and said, yes, we are looking into a program that we are thinking of calling it ownership responsibility or farmer responsibility. In the scenario that Donald Trump described, ICE would be going to these farms, basically striking up a deal with these farmers where their migrants, their illegal migrants who would normally be deported, can sign up to be owned by the farmer or the hotel worker, whatever the business is, and so that they may return. They will not receive citizenship. They will, however, be able to pay taxes, and they would essentially be owned by the farmer. He tries to word it as they're just responsible for these workers, not that they own them. Is this your first time hearing about this? Because you could definitely go and find the clip on YouTube on CBS News. So now Donald Trump not only has the ability to deport those to countries outside of their place of origin, you understand, he's able to ship them anywhere around the world, essentially providing any of those countries with free bodies, free labor, right? Or they can sign up to agree to be owned by the employer that they previously were working for here in America, as long as they want to stay in America. And considering that America was built off of the labor of slaves, the labor provided through slavery, I am not surprised that this administration is taking this route. It's almost as if America cannot thrive without the continued exploitation of people of color.
Fam, what is this nonsense I'm hearing about white Midwestern farmers thinking black folks were going to come and work their goddamn fields after they mass deported all of the migrant workers? What in the fuck they don't know us at all. They don't know any fucking thing about us. Like our own fucking parents and grandparents didn't size our asses the fuck up. Let us know everything about ourselves. Like when my grandmother looked at me at a young age and said, "Young lady, you need to keep your black ass in school and go on to college. Working outdoors is not for you." That's my fucking grandmother. She knew me. She was right. So what did I do? Stayed my ass in school. Went on off to college. And now you're looking at a 6-figure nigga. What in the fuck would I look like picking Earl's corn? Earl can kiss my ass. If he could do my black job, I wouldn't have it, now would I?
Last night was the first time in my nursing career I had a patient tell me they prefer not to have a black nurse. Story time. I didn't even get report on this patient yet. I go into the room, introduce myself, let the patient know I'm going to be your nurse tonight. If you need anything, let me know. We're going to start off, with a full head to toe assessment, and we'll proceed with any medication if there is anything. Patient says, "Oh, I asked to speak to the clinical manager 30 minutes ago." Mind you, this is 7:10. I wasn't even here 30 minutes ago. I said, "Is there anything wrong that you want to speak to the clinical manager?" He's like, "Yeah, I want to let them know that I prefer not to have any black nurses." "Oh, yeah?" I'm like, well, I'm a black man, and I'm your nurse. Like, would it make you feel comfortable not to have me? He's like, "Yeah, to make me real comfortable. Can you get the clinical manager?" I get the clinical manager. My clinical manager is black. He's blacker than me. My clinical manager walked in. He could not believe it. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. You didn't think black people was in positions like this? I was just waiting to see if he was going to say, "Well, is there somebody above him?" My director's black too. She's blacker than me. At the end of it, we ended up switching the assignment. And it ended up working in my favor because guess what? I only had 2 patients all night. 2-1. In an empty bed. All night long. You can't beat that. Thank you for being you.
A hospital in Jersey put up a flyer asking for nurses to volunteer their time on the weekend to pick and harvest blueberries. They gotta be smoking the finest dope or something. I don't know. I just left my big sister's page because she was talking about this, and she's also a nurse practitioner. So I'm just going to echo and just add some other stuff onto what she said. It wasn't enough that we had to work real hard to get a nursing degree. It's not enough that we bust our behinds working and taking care of patients, not getting adequate breaks, burnout, stress. Some of us have a lot of anxiety, depression because COVID and everything else. You asked me to volunteer my time on the weekend to pick and harvest blueberries as some advancement for a clinical ladder project? Y'all need to go and just find something else better to do and find somebody else to play with, because nurses is not the ones. And I don't even know why anybody would think that this was okay to post or put up a flyer in a hospital and do. Like, get somebody else to do it.
It's time to speak up. Well, it appears the joke's on me. It appears I have been the biggest fool alive. You see, before the last couple of days, I knew that there was a segment of MAGA who just hated, who just wanted to burn the world down, and they don't care who they hurt. In the meantime, I knew there was that section, but I really thought that most of MAGA just didn't get it. I really thought they just didn't understand. They didn't understand economics because it's complicated. They hadn't studied Project 2025, so they didn't know what was coming. But I really thought when he got in there and started doing the things that hurt so many people, that they would realize, and that they would. But they don't care. Y'all have been telling me this for 2 months, and I kept saying, no, we just have to explain it to them. We just have. Now, I know there are a few, and I thank you guys. You make it worth sticking with this. But over the last couple of days, I have realized that the majority of Republicans do not care how many people are hurt. And they are exactly what Palpatine said. They're the ones he was talking about when he said he could unalive someone in public and they would still vote for him. I thought they just wanted lower egg prices. I thought they were struggling in the economy and it was hard and they wanted their lives to be easier, and they listened to that. And that's why they voted for him. But they don't care. They literally don't care how many other people in this world are hurt. See, the difference is I'm willing to pay more for my eggs if it means no one in my country goes hungry tonight. I am willing to pay more for my eggs if it means everybody can have an egg. But they really don't care. And I am heartbroken that so many in my country don't care. That so many won't go love their neighbor. But I want to thank those of you who are. You're the ones keeping me going. Go love your neighbor.
Dozens of Texas farms shut down overnight. Why? Because 100% of the workforce has vanished. It's not a mystery. They haven't gone missing. They've left. Because of immigration raids and policies that treat the people that grow our food, even the ones with work permits, like criminals. No workers means no harvest. Do you think food's expensive now? Just wait. And this isn't just a Texas issue. It's your dinner table, your kids' school lunch, your grocery bill, your local farmer's market. Do you want America first? Well, guess what? America just ran out of farm workers. And it turns out crops don't pick themselves. We've arrested, detained, or deported the workforce. And now we don't have enough food. There aren't enough people to take care of the livestock either. Guess what? Cows don't feed themselves. Chickens can't clean their own pens. And then they get sick and they die. And there goes your milk, your eggs, and your cheeseburger. This is what happens when we let people write policy who haven't worked a day in their life, especially on a farm, but they never miss a steak dinner. We need migrant workers. We need labor protections for the migrant workers. If the workforce continues to disappear, so will all the food on your plates.
A lot of people effed around and now they're finding out. And no group of people is going to find out more quickly than farmers because they're really going to get screwed. with the cutting of this USAID program, they're really going to get hit hard, because what was that program, or is that program, that is not being operated as it's supposed to be because of Donald Trump giving complete control of the federal government to the billionaire who bought him, Elon Musk. Anyways, what was the purpose of that? The purpose was to provide humanitarian relief around the world. And a big part of that was providing food to desperate people around the world. And what we did through that program is purchase a lot of agricultural products produced by American farmers and then distribute those products around the world. Now that money is being withheld illegally, but it's being withheld.
And there's reports now that some farmers have 100% of their workers not showing up, and they're being forced to shut down. In South Texas, they grow grapefruit, they grow oranges, lots of different citrus varieties, leafy greens, onions, potatoes, peppers. So not only are the prices of what we can get going to go up at the grocery store, but also there's going to be massive food waste if there's nobody picking these crops when they're ready to be picked. I hope MAGA likes a diet of strictly processed foods.
.com. Another week, another batch of MAGA faithful finding out the hard way. Leopards eating faces. They're eating a lot of faces. This week's episode focuses on truckers and soybean farmers. Truckers love Donald Trump. About 75% of truckers in the United States identify as Republicans and voted for Donald Trump. It's easy to imagine why. The group is mostly rural, white, and male, and tied to a job that lives and dies on the cost of fossil fuels, diesel, which can account for up to 40% of their costs. And they hate environmental mandates to electrify their fleets, electric trucks. In 2014, truck driver was the most common job title in most American states and a significant one in pretty much all of them. Truck driving is one of the largest professions that provides a path to financial security without a college degree. So, Craig Fuller, a trucking guy on Twitter, many truckers I've spoken with don't realize how quickly container volumes have collapsed, meaning containers coming from China because of Trump's tariffs. Starting in May, port freight out of the state of California will almost be eliminated. It's going to be a bloodbath, and then a complete collapse of I-20 and I-40 trucking. Those are freeways going across the states. I don't know what this term blank sailings means, but in May 2020, there were 51 shipments of blank sailings, over 80 of them so far in April. So blank sailings are bad, and they're up about 70% over May of 2020. COVID will look like good times. Let's see. This is crazy. Mack Truck is laying off 20% of its workforce, manufacturing trucks. Hang on. An industry expert said the 100,000 full-time, hard-working truckers hauling 85% of the surface trade in goods with Mexico and 67% of the goods traded with Canada will bear a direct and disproportionate impact from Trump's tariffs. It's gonna absolutely crater trucking. Now let's check on the soybean industry. During his first administration, he put tariffs on China. China bought all their stuff from Brazil. The economic damage was so severe that Trump had to bail out farmers to the tune of $28 billion. That's the definition of socialism for Republican farmers. A similar number of farmers voted for Donald Trump, 75 or 80%. So after his first term, what did those farmers do? What did they do? They voted for Trump again. Of course. Trump has now killed what was left of the Chinese market, dramatically increased the cost of fertilizer, thanks to his trade war with China, and turned the world against American goods. As these soy farmers are relegated to pegging columns like this one, I'm a soybean farmer who voted for Trump. I'm begging the president to end the trade war. Like many of my fellow farmers, I voted for President Donald Trump in the past 3 elections. The president won me over with his commitment to business-friendly tax cuts as well as his track record of reducing regulation and cutting government spending. I am one of the 500,000 soybean farmers in America who feels the pain. I rely on my farm for 100% of the income from my family, except for all those government subsidies, the socialism, and the families of our 3 full-time workers. We have 1,500 acres of soybean on my farm. At $600 per acre. Our production costs are $900,000. But in the current climate, an acre only brings in $500 of revenue, which means we are yielding $750,000, a $150,000 loss because you voted for Donald Trump, because of Trump's tariffs on China, because China has just been like, we're gonna get our stuff from Brazil again. They're getting their soybeans from Brazil. They're getting their beef from Australia. So it's not just soybean farmers. Guess who didn't have to give farmers $28 billion in bailouts? Joe Biden. You voted for this 3 times, truckers and soybean farmers. You voted for this 3 times. Have the day you deserve.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from. Now, a lot of white Texas and Nebraska farmers are now complaining out to the black community to help them in their farms. Now, most of them are feeling that their farms are no longer doing better because of most of the migrants who used to work in their farms have now been deported or kicked out of the US by the ICE team. Now, this is not sitting well with most of the black community because most of this black community didn't vote for whatever is happening at the moment. Most of the people who voted for the Republicans, most of these MAGA supporters actually knew about the policies, but they didn't expect or imagine in their dreams that it was going to affect them in one way or the other. Now, this is a very big surprise to them because, when you're used to doing something, then you have got the privilege and you have no privilege anymore. Now, that becomes a problem. Now you think you are being oppressed just because you are not having the privilege that you're used to. This is whatever is happening right now in most of the parts in the US, that most of the farmers that were used to some of the privileges are now not getting the privileges because the Republicans are now cutting off each and every other thing that they used to enjoy. Now, it is for this reason that most of them have realized that it is not going to sit well with them, that most of their crops, most of their blueberries, tomatoes are going bad in their farms. And for this one reason, I saw most of them calling out the black community to come out and help in sorting out the issues. Now, others were even calling out the black community, the black nurses, to come out and help them pick blueberries and help them harvest wheat and all these other things. Now, this is very ridiculous because how do you call a person who has done medicine to come into the farms and start picking blueberries? When you are voting for these things, who did you expect will come, if at all? The illegal immigrants, who are the majority of the workers in these farms, are going to be deported just as Donald Trump had promised, Now, the ICE team is doing a very big job at the moment. They are kicking out most of the people in the US, and most of the large numbers that are being kicked out of the states are the ones who are working in these farms. Now, there is a very big problem because if the people who are working in these farms are no longer there, they cannot be there to work. Now, you expect a total misery. You expect a shortage of labor. You expect a shortage of produce, that you cannot have the same produce that you are used to having because There is no one to work in these farms. Most of those skilled laborers are now gone, you know. The ones who are there are not even willing to work. And I do not see the need to push for the black community to come and work for you. You can't be voting to punish someone. Then when it turns out that the people you wanted to be punished have not been punished, instead, whatever you voted in has turned against you. Now you go back to the same people and you start complaining that they are not doing, or they are not doing whatever you want them to do, or they are not lining up to the things that you're trying to bring to them. This is very, very much ridiculous. I love seeing most of the white community. Some of the white community are so good, and they're trying to call out their brothers and sisters who are going astray by calling out the black nurses to come and help them. And they're saying, hey, look at that, we brought this problem to ourselves. And there is no need for us to continue blaming the rest for all this is happening to us. That all this which is happening to us is our fault. And let's be very sincere that you can't blame someone for something that you did and it didn't go successful. You know, they say when you fail in life, then you find so many other reasons to support your failure. But when you win in life, you have few reasons, and you have absolutely few reasons, and you talk less. That's whatever is happening at the moment. I'm very, very sad watching this. I'm very moved by whatever is happening in the United States of America. How I wish people could realize that we are all people of the human race and they could act humanly. Let's stop all these things that are happening. We are not very much okay, or we are not going to allow some people to do or to choose a bad way. Then they try to force everyone into accepting or into suffering with them. Now, brothers and sisters, there is a lot that can be said and there is a lot that can be done. But the fact that people are not even willing to come together, people are now blame shifting. They're trying to shift blames to their brothers and sisters. Why didn't you do this? Why are you not helping me with this? This is not the way we're gonna live. This is not the way we want to see humanity. We have seen a lot of bad things happening from the past to the present. We've been seeing how a given or a certain race has been treated over the years, and we do not like when retaliations are done. We rather say that we need peace, we need unity, we need all the black people, we need all the white community, we need Asians, we need red Indians to unite, because we are people of the same race. We are people of the human race. The divisions that have been brought and which divided our ancestors should not exist in this era. I believe that we can do better from the Gen Zs, from the millennials, Gen Zs, and going forward, that we have a responsibility to rub whatever was done and try as much as we can to install new ideologies, you know, that we were told this race is bad, the other race is good, and the other race is bad. Do not associate or do not marry from this race. Don't do this, don't do that. A lot of theories were created around all these creation stories and all this, you know, to drift us apart as people of the human race. Now, I'll tell you a given story. Now, the easiest way to control human beings, or the easiest way to control animals, is dividing them in groups, you know. Even when you have a boss at work and he realizes or she realizes that you all are friends when you are working, they'll try as much as they can to divide you, because they know in the unity of masses there is strength, you know. And this is whatever has been told to us, that this race is not good, the other one is not good, that this one should be working here and the other ones should be working here. How dare do you call the black community nurses to come and work in your farms? Don't you even respect their profession? Don't you even respect who they are, the titles they hold in the community, in the society? It's so bad. We need to change our mentality and we need to do better. I see a lot of people who voted for the orange man in the White House are now crying, that food prices are skyrocketing, a lot of bad things are happening, a lot of bills are being signed into laws which are not so good or favorable to the common citizen. A lot of these things are happening across the world. But how do we keep in touch as the people? Are we going to divide ourselves? Are we going to divide ourselves on the basis of race, color, or the country you come from, or the professions you have, or the social class you hold? We need, as much as we can, to unite the people and bring the people together. This is whatever is going to define humanity in the coming days. Because in the last few centuries, we were told a certain group of people are superior and they need to enjoy some privileges. And if you're black or if you come from Africa, you are doomed. And it doesn't mean how much you work hard. It doesn't matter how much you put in the work. You will still not make it. But we've seen millionaires coming out of Africa. We've seen good people coming out of Africa. We've seen superstars, rock stars, And we see that there is a lot of potential and we are all the same. The cradle of mankind started in Africa. This is where humanity originated from. So we need to respect each other. We need to uphold these morals that define who we are. If we continue this way, if we continue hammering ourselves, and if we continue dividing ourselves, we ain't going to do better. We ain't going to do anything meaningful. A lot of theories, as I did say, that were created to divide us, but we are here to dismantle them. We are here to strategize. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's know where we went wrong and where we need to rectify and correct things that were not done in the best way. How can we explain the fact that we still inherit the same problems over the years and we die and leave the same problems unsolved? Who do we really expect to come and save the coming generations, to save them from whatever is happening? So we really need to do better as people of the mankind or people of human kind, We must not allow some powers sitting somewhere to divide the people just because they want to rule or divide and rule for over the years. Who leads by dividing? It is them. It is the systems. They tell you the black community belongs to Democrats and this community belongs to this, or this race belongs to this. And you do not realize that that's a way, that's a tactic they have used to divide you into smaller numbers so that they can rule over you. When you're divided, it's so easy for someone to bring different ideologies because there are those who will oppose and there are those who will buy. But if you're united, it is so easy to say no. I do not say that unity means accepting to every ideology. No, unity only means that you can sit down, discuss different ideologies and different perspectives and come out with a proper and a very reasonable solution to whatever is really itching you out. Thank you so much for having taken the time to watch this video. I really appreciate it. If it's your first time on this channel, please consider subscribing, sharing, commenting, and liking this video. Thank you so much. See you in our next episode.